You know, when I was small, we used to do tumbon, tumbon. Okay, so that.
Hello, good morning. My name is Nina Marie Opene. I'm a 42-year-old mother of two. I work in the civil service and I am a breast cancer survivor. Okay. I'm still in treatment anyways, but I am a survivor.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's always beautiful to be here with you on the conversation on the largest television network. My name is Halima Usman. I'm here to give support to Lizzie and, of course, to my very good friends here.
All right. My name is Chestnut Milo Dorothy Nuhu Akenova. I'm a breast cancer survivor and a feminist.
Okay. She's a feminist, and all of us here are womanists. And one way or the other, I tell people that cancer is not just what you feel on the skin. There are a lot of cancers in our lives. It could be your emotional problem, it could be your family problem, it could be your office problem, whatever it is, it becomes cancerous. But then I always say remove the bad parts, take the good one, which is a can. Yes, we can. Let's see this feature. When we come back, we'll talk in details.
Cancer ranks top on the chart as a leading cause of death and an important barrier to increasing life expectancy in every country of the world. According to the World Health Organization in 2019, it is the second leading cause of death in 112 of 183 countries, affecting people before the age of 70 and ranking third and fourth in 23 other countries. In Nigeria, cancer is responsible for 72,000 deaths with an estimated 102,000 cases annually, with cases varying by gender. For men, the most common types of cancer are prostate, colorectal, and non-Hodgkin lymphoma. On the other hand, for women, they are breast cancer, cervical cancer, and ovarian cancer. Breast cancer affects people in Nigeria, with 12% of the disease representing new cases and 25% of all cancers in women. Cells in healthy breast tissue can become cancerous and can spread to other parts of the body. Symptoms include a large lump, swelling, pain in the breast, bloody discharge of the nipple, the skin peeling on your breast, an inverted nipple, and so on. There are also different types of breast cancer, such as invasive ductal carcinoma and angiosarcoma. Although they generally have less of it, men have breast tissue just like women do and can get breast cancer too. However, it is a rare occurrence. Cervical cancer is a type of cancer that starts in the cervix. The cervix connects the uterus to the vagina. Many women with cervical cancer do not realize they have the disease early on because it usually does not cause any visible symptoms until the late stages. Typical cervical cancer symptoms are unusual bleeding, such as in between periods, after sex, or after menopause, vaginal discharge that looks or smells different than usual, pain in the pelvis, needing to urinate more often, pain during urination, and so on. Most cervical cancer cases are caused by the human papilloma virus, also known as HPV. Nevertheless, cervical cancer is treatable if caught early. The four main treatments are surgery, radiation therapy, chemotherapy, and targeted therapy. Whether from genetics, lifestyle choices, environment, or a combination of all, cancer can affect anyone regardless of their background. There is no known cure for the disease as of today. However, one can reduce one's risk to it by leading a healthy lifestyle. Eat healthy, exercise frequently, and get regular medical checkups. Early detection is always key in fighting cancer. Have you done your self-breast examination today?
All right, that question for me is very paramount. It is pertinent. It is important we examine ourselves. And I may not be physically, a carrier, but one way or the other, we have all been affected. If it's not your family member, it could be your friend, it could be your colleague. One way or the other, you may have lost life. You may have someone who is living with it. I have two of my friends here who are survivors. Incidentally, their voices are very loud. But I've had stories. A lot of times it doesn't really sink in. Let me start with you. How was it like for you? How did you notice? How was it revealed, so to speak?
Well, I just got home one evening, and it was during hammer time for December. And usually the skin gets dry and itchy during that December period. So when I got home and I felt itchy on my breast, I just assumed, okay, this brow must have been too tight and, the weather is too dry. So I gave it a good scratch. And then there was a little burst on the nipple and I felt some coldness. And then when I checked my T-shirt, I had lines of dark brown, stains. And I have been a sexuality educator for years, so I knew the implication of a discharge that is brownish in color from the nipple. So my world just came to a halt that second, that moment. That's how the journey began for me. Then I had to see a doctor. I had to contact an older feminist friend, who is also an advocate in the field of breast cancer. And she's the one who said, look, Dorothy, you've got to pursue this aggressively. I think you should.
I would like to know the aggressiveness and what it all involved. But let's see. I noticed you were shaking your head.
Sorry, I'm being dramatic, but I can understand it. So mine was during lockdown last year, August. Okay, I think 2 weeks before that, my right shoulder had been, this is my right one, my right shoulder had been hurting. And I told my husband, and he said, you probably slept wrongly. And I'm like, okay, but it shouldn't
right
take...
shoulder hurting?
Yeah, that was
this is
for
the
me.
First time I ever noticed.
That's what I said. So everybody has their own
reason.
Then one day I took off my bra, and my nipple had gone in, like it had collapsed. So I was like, okay, this is not normal. Then I've read other people's stories, and just seeing there and then, you just know that there's something wrong. I didn't have a discharge, but I just knew that this is not normal. There's something wrong. Yes, it inverted. Next thing, I do an exam, and it wasn't really fun. But I was like, there's something that is really not right, because you do have those this thing. I went for a mammogram. Nobody sent me. I went for a mammogram. They now called me. And you just keep trying to say, okay, this is not it. So the particular breast was dense. They couldn't see through it. The other one was clear. Couldn't see, but there was something inside. So I had to go for a biopsy. I still kept saying, and the doctors were like, oh, no, it's nothing. That's the thing. Everybody was like, even when they took it out, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing. Until I got my results in August.
I think they tried to give us a soft landing, don't they?
And your brain just tells you, okay, it is something else. It is something else. It is benign. Until August, I heard it. I was trying to be strong. Next thing I thought about the doctor now goes, it's cancer. Yeah. Okay. It was a horrible 2 weeks of my life, because I couldn't cry myself to sleep. I had to stay awake until I am physically tired, so that I just sleep at once. Because you try and sleep, in between falling asleep, you now think of, you're going to die. You think of all the people you remember and who died. And, we all associated cancer with death. I cried. Then I started talking to different people. That was what gave me peace. I sent it to my uncle in America, who's a doctor, a friend who's a doctor, and they said one thing that calmed me down. As you grow older, these things happen. And it was stage 1, early stage. You can beat it, you can this one. But someone was like, you're so young. I started crying again, because I was like, so what am I going to do? I have 2 young kids. One just turned 7, the other one is going to be 4 end of the year. So, those are the thoughts that go through your mind. I lost my mom when I was 15, so I didn't want this to happen again. So, yes, it took a rough getting used to. But after a while, you create your own stories. I spoke to someone, and they said sometimes what aggravates it or increases it is your state of mind. And I kept myself busy researching. I found second opinions. I didn't go to just one doctor. When I wasn't comfortable with the course of treatment, I spoke to another doctor. I found another doctor. So, speaking and reading and talking about it kind of gave me peace. So I did my lumpectomy because the first doctor said I should take everything off. You're dealing with losing body parts. I have estrogen-related lobular breast cancer. I've had ovarian cyst. I've had fibroid. I had my first child with fibroid. So these are precursors for me to having breast cancer. And I think I'm lucky because it could have shown up in my ovaries, which I wouldn't have known until it would really become bad. So I think I'm lucky it even came out in the breast. So I did my lumpectomy. I just finished my chemo on the 8th of March, and I'm due for radiotherapy. I've started hormone treatment. And there are days you cry, there are days you feel sad, there are days you remember, but you look up and you realize that everybody's battling one thing or the other. If this is my own, I just move forward with it. And I've met women that have gone through worse things. Some lost their husbands while they were receiving treatment, and they've come out stronger. And now that we are aware, it's not as frightening as we thought it would be, because the word cancer tends to connote you're gone, but there are lots of people living with it, and
I think
we
the
look good.
reason is because people never were outspoken as we are now. Like 10 years ago, when I discovered mine, people weren't talking.
Yeah.
You know, people were all in hiding.
You've been on with it for 10 years.
Yes, it's over 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
I know that 10 years, now it's still bad. You know, people get it. They don't want to share it.
yes.
They want to discuss it under the,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
not
as if
the
it's a
table.
stigma.
Yes, as if it's your fault.
It's not.
I mean, it's nothing.
I think it's just that attitude of this is the end of the road for this one is going to die.
Yeah.
I've seen family and even partners react that way when their wives are diagnosed.
Yeah.
They just give up, and then that support that the woman needs is withdrawn because they feel like they're pouring water into a basket.
Yeah.
And they don't end up giving support to the girls or to the women. And sometimes you talk and it makes sense, but sometimes you talk and talk and talk, and then, you know, they never come out of it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just the attitude, generally speaking, that people give up on other people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why our stories and voices are very important. We need to let people know that imagine if somebody gave up on me 10 years ago. All the great things I've done since 10 years ago would not have been done.
That's true.
That's terrible. Even if someone has just one day to impact the world, the person deserves an opportunity. And the people who are passing the sentence on us, they don't know what they are carrying. Many people have died that didn't even have cancer from a diagnosis till now.
Yeah.
You know, so all of us are on borrowed time. Let it sink, and that will help us not to be judgmental and to condemn other people.
Now, I would like to know, you talked about support and all of that. How was the support for you? I mean, work-related, you know, family-related. How was it? What was it that happened for you that kept you going up until now?
Well, I'm very fortunate because I work in the field of sexual and reproductive health. And as a feminist, I have alliances across the globe. So I have friends in India. That's where I obtained my treatment and went for follow-up until, you know, recently when people can travel again and then begin to do everything here. In the board, it was also very supportive. I work with a non-governmental organization. That year I was diagnosed. We had just introduced a module in our training for women and girls on cancer, reproductive cancer. So just after doing the module, then I come down with cancer.
Was it because you did the module?
No. But the module prepared me. Because if I have done module for people, then I should be in a good position to show by example what I have written. And that was very encouraging because the alternative that I was getting pressure around from the church, especially because I'm also an evangelist, is when there is convention, you must go there. When there's Holy Ghost night, you must go there. Just keep going and you will get your miracle one day. You know? And then I sat and thought to myself, after educating hundreds of women, then they come and greet me all skeleton smelly. Then they're going to ask me a question. How come I put that information out for other people to use and could not use it for yourself? That just switched the thing roundabout for me. and put me in a fighting mode, and that's the mode I've been on. Family, I've been very, very a handful kind of person. I've given them tough time. I divorced my husband. I married a younger man. The family disowned me, So I expected that the younger man was going to stick with this situation, but no, he just couldn't cope with it. I understand very well, So I had to pick the pieces. Eventually got reconciled with my born-again pastor husband, So
That's nice.
it's been good support network, and that's very crucial, because if everybody who comes around you is speaking life into your body, giving you courage to move on, if you see their smiles, it helps you to move on day after day. Marie, you talked about, the fact that these panics and anxieties, they set in. I tell you, they still do. Every time you go for your checkup,
You're like, oh Lord.
you are waiting for the results, and sometimes they are misdiagnosing and etc. Putting you in panic mode. I have lost like 10 kg in 2 weeks before because I got a result that I wasn't prepared for. So it's a long journey, and what you need is that support system
Every time.
that can keep encouraging you. Say, you fought it when it was bad. You can still fight it now.
Exactly.
When she was talking, I just remembered. So I did this cervical cancer test.
I couldn't
Yesterday. I was talking to Nina about it. So when I did that cervical cancer test, you understand, that was in 2015 we started. After 6 months, you go for the second and the third. They were doing, I think, they were doing a research. So I went. They didn't tell me the result, the first result, until after the second one. So that was when they told me that you have trace of cancer. Oh my God. Okay, so I just felt that, okay, the end has come.
It has a way of
Like,
doing
it's
that
time to write your will and just bid the world goodbye, But I think, I don't know, maybe because I'm a fighter myself. So at a point, I started asking myself and started searching and reading and asking myself, so if truly this thing turns out to be what it is suspected to be, and probably I have just few months to live, what happens? So I told myself, well, if that's what's going to happen, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to live the best of my life. I am into charity, which I love working with people, helping people. So I told myself, let me just die doing these things that I love to do. So I picked up, I got busy doing those things. And I think somehow that was what helped me. And then I stopped taking certain kinds of food. I stopped eating anything with sugar, stopped taking minerals, anything that has to do with sugar, I cut it down. And I ensure that my food, no matter what I'm eating, has a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits. So it was like you said, a complete change of lifestyle. And I was surprised when I went for the final test. They said it's cleared. I said okay.
They do not diagnose you.
And I think that's another problem.
Yes.
That's another, because you've had cases of, so for me, my own support, I have lots of friends, and honestly, my family and friends have been fantastic. I have a boss, his name is Charles, my husband's name too is Charles, and he did something great. He had put out his sister's own, so I called him up and said, this is my own problem. So he called my husband too, and explained to him that this is going to be a tough journey, even for you. Men have been known to accuse their wives, because even sleeping with your husband, you don't have that appetite or energy. So he said some men have accused their wives, they've left their wives, they blah blah blah. So somehow, don't know, my husband Kukuma stuck with me because he doesn't have any choice. It's true.
You are charming.
Thank you. He does. And somehow I feel I have to be cheerful for people around me, because if you're down and whatever, they're going to feel down. And my husband says, I don't know what to do. I really don't know how you're feeling. I can't explain. And I have lovely friends. I had a friend when I was looking for money, they donated, and one of them said, your own job is to get well. Our own job is to find how to get you what you need. My cousins in various countries, it's just been awesome. And with them, it's been funny. Even in my office, the other day, the office was hot. My office is on 10th floor, so those on 10th floor know, not everybody. And I took off my wig, and everybody was, so this is what you look like. Nobody made it weird. I go to my friends' homes. I don't go with my wig. my hair is looking all funny, and there's acceptance. Like, oh, you look nice, and it's one of those things you
But
will
I
get
want
over
to
it.
say, I think Nina is very strong. Sincerely speaking, because when I first heard her story, she actually broke the news to me and said,
Because you got tired
I
of
was like,
explaining to
"Excuse
people,
me."
where are you, where have you, why are you wearing this? So you're like, okay, you know what, this is it. And because she's a woman too, I'm using my own story to help other women, because I'm early stage breast cancer. I have estrogen related lobular breast cancer. I didn't know it was 6 months ago, but I understand it now. And I always tell women, it's not just checking whatever, check your hormonal level. I believe if I checked my hormones, because it's my hormones, I would have figured out that there was something wrong. But nobody tells us. I had a condition. I kept going to the hospital. They kept saying it was this, it was that. Nobody thought to check. This was 3 years ago after I had my child, to check my hormonal level. That's what I think, because it's my hormones that. Now so I'm now taking estrogen blockers. I'm blocking my hormones, because for me, it's the hormones that are causing this thing. So it's just.
A lot of people it could be, but I would like to know what has changed for you, when it comes to your lifestyle. What has changed? Maybe she mentioned something about food. It was you that said it.
Yeah.
What has changed for you?
Total lifestyle changes. People have become a priority to me. I mean, I worked in a non-governmental setting, and it's about people, but it was very clinical kind of work I was doing. But now I'm more interested in the people.
Yeah.
I want to know how you are. I want to know how you feel, It's more, I believe now in connections.
Yes.
I want to connect with whoever crosses my path. And I want to leave something when we meet, so that when you go, you always think, I learned something new from this woman. So it may be an obsession. So I'm into developing projects and programs, and just doing things all over the place that can make impact. And then I've learned to spend time with my family. It was at my diagnosis I was saying, son sits in this part of the house. I didn't even know where son used to sit from. Because I was out there working, I was out traveling and all of that. And of course, I've changed my diet. So the sugars were the first to go.
The sugars are usually a problem.
I'm letting go of the animal protein and vegetables and fruits, especially when they are not cooked. Very important. I make sure that I move my bowel regularly so that toxins are not accumulated in my body. I drink lots of water. And that's something that most people don't do. And if we don't drink water, we can't flush things out. And then I'm an exercise freak. I've always exercised. This has made it, and I still exercise.
You look at. Do you exercise?
I had to. I started. So my own story. I'm just 6 months into this journey. So so yes, I get it. But for me, I've learned to do ugu juice. I have drunk every type of juice. I have bowel movement. I have learned to do exercise. Now, unfortunately for me, it was not my thing. I learned it. So today, I watch my steps. You need to. I try to challenge, but as a human being, there are times you fall by the wayside. When you fall by the wayside, your body now tells you, hey, you know this thing. Like last week, I was doing coffee. I like coffee. I like my coffee, and I remembered that this thing. So it's
coffee is a no.
Well,
it will depress your system because it mimics fatigue and stress in the body. And you want your body to optimally function so that you can resist infection. So not only reoccurrence, but also other infections around.
So then I went to see my doctor, because after chemo, my mind, I celebrated her party. I just, it took a struggle. It's like when you're at the last end of the race, when you now find out they have reached the race, you're like, I'm taking a holiday. Then my doctor now said, I haven't seen you. I've not scheduled you for whatever, and whatever, you're getting fat again. I went up to 90, so I went back again. I'm now 86. The thing is, I don't look my weight. That's the funny thing. So it crept up on me. And for me, estrogens, the fatter you are, okay, my doctor says peripheral fat increases estrogen. So for me, I have to keep it on the low. I always have to be cautious. I have to whatever. I don't have to feed it. So sugars feed, but there's also an argument because you are supposed to take fruits. Fruits have fructose. It has sugar. So it's a balance, delicate balance.
Maybe we're talking about refined sugar.
Yeah, refined sugar.
Even vegetables.
Yeah, because everybody gives, don't take sugar, don't. So you have to do your research. And I'm like, so someone was like, what don't you eat and what do you? I say, I eat everything. I just make sure I balance it out. I do more vegetables. I have to. More vegetables, more fruits. But I'm not going to cut out sugar from my life. I'm going to deprive myself something. So it's then.
So you still do ice cream?
No. Well, but you're allowed to have a break once in a while. You're not a monk or you're not whatever. You're not. You have to cut yourself some slack, but it's just being disciplined about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just new in the journey, but what has changed for me is I'm doing more. My case was the reverse. Especially with young kids, we'll do this tomorrow. I kept postponing, but now I'm taking my children swimming. I'm doing this. I'm pushing myself out there. I'm coming home tired, and I'm excited about it. I'm no longer as lazy as I used to be. And I'm also reaching out to people. I'm also wanting to have engagements and talks and seeing everybody as somebody to reach out to, because people made this journey easy for me. So I might as well just pay it forward. And I try not to let normal things disturb me. This one did not greet me. This one did not smile at me.
So
Mindset is important.
No, mindset is, this doctor, because it's normal. This doctor did this to me. I move on to finding a solution instead of dwelling in. It's hard sometimes.
I think survivors are solution finders, actually.
You have to.
Those who get weighed down are the ones who sit and brood and,
Yeah, you can't.
I've seen people who refuse to go back for treatment because doctor talked to her anyhow. Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
because
it's true.
doctors talk to you anyhow because
And your
they
life
have
is at
this
stake.
experience where people come and they just vanish into thin air.
Yeah.
They go to seek for prayers on some prayers work, but prayers and faith without
Good
action,
works.
timely and appropriate action is zero. We have to back it up with appropriate and timely action. That's the concern of the doctor. Don't just thin out and disappear on them. So they
Do not get angry.
preempt that, and they talk to you in a way that sometimes may appear condescending, but they want you to come back. And yet, some women just take it as an offense and they don't go back.
I think this prayer thing for us, I believe in God, man, has whatever, but I think it's more because the cost of cancer treatment is
It's high.
expensive and it is long. We don't have enough equipment. It's okay.
Somehow I think that if I knew this at the beginning, I'd have been defeated in my mind.
Yeah, I know.
If anybody had told me the total cost of what I need to stay alive till I am here now, I would have given up, because there was no way I could have fathomed in my life that I would have that kind of money come in my way. No way. So sometimes I struggle with what to do. Do we let people know, or do we just let them? It's like when
let
you are
them
building,
find it out.
the
Find out.
architect or engineer just plays you, before you know it, your millions are gone.
Yeah.
So a day at a time.
it's
But the important thing is that the resources will always be
Be there.
available,
That's
because
my story.
life is like that.
Yes, somehow God does not give us a burden that He will not give us enough grace to carry on. I know one CC Scout once said that the human spirit is stronger than anything that can happen to it. Yes, if we are strong on the inside, we can defeat whatever it is. Sometimes we think we don't have money. With a blink of an eye, the money comes. Let's take this break. When we come back, we'll still have our discussion on cancer.
Back to 2014. I remember I felt a lump on my right breast, but I ignored it because it was silent. It didn't do anything. And I remember walking in, never imagined that would be the beginning of a life change for me. And we proceeded to have the mammogram examination. And she said, "Oh, I feel a lump." And I said, "Yeah, it's been there for a while." And she said, let's just look at it and see what the mammogram says. They did a biopsy, and interestingly, the first report said that it was negative. But I had a very experienced doctor, which matters, and he said, "I am personally going to do this biopsy. So I had to go into the theater again. They did a biopsy, and when the report came back, it was cancerous. And when I say that, I couldn't say this 5 years ago, because I'm celebrating 5 years of being in remission, of being cancer free. Why did I survive? I survived because in everything that I did from the first time that I was diagnosed, yes, in Nigeria, it was Nigeria that diagnosed me. It was Nigeria that first treated me. So Nigeria has the capacity to save lives.
Okay, so cancer, you just saw a bit of another survivor, Choma. She actually was in the 4th stage. That was big.
That bad.
It was big.
But
she was supposed to be here with us. Unfortunately, she's not here. One thing I have learned from her is the strong will, to live. The strong will, just pretty much like you, she has actually demystified it. You don't get to feel this is a death sentence. Of course it's not. And I took out something again from her, which was that it's very important for you to stay close home. Nigeria, she talked about the smoothies, just like you mentioned, that a lot of things we eat in Nigeria are still pretty organic.
yeah.
So if we can depend on our food, which brings me to talking about what constitutes the smoothie for you. I don't know, you talked about blending the vegetables raw.
Yeah, I do 2 things. I do juices and I do smoothies.
Okay.
Juices because the machine presses out the juice and does not spin it. So there are certain very delicate nutrients that could be destroyed while you blend the power. But when you extract it by that pressing, those nutrients are preserved. So I do red juices. Red juices of carrots with beetroot.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I add ginger and I add garlic. And then my green juices.
Do you add honey to it?
No, I don't eat. There is diabetes in my family, so I'm also trying not to have to go on that diabetic treatment. So I'm battling on
I'm shaking my head because beetroot is bitter.
No, it's an acquired taste.
It's nice.
After a while, if you acquire, it's an acquired taste.
Well, so for me, green juice is cucumber, the back of watermelon.
Back of watermelon?
Wow. You scrub it with iron sponge and then compress it. Yeah. And then ugu, kale,
parsley,
dandelion. Yeah, dandelion.
Celery.
I put celery sometimes because the flavor.
It is pungent.
If you bring it close to your nose, I mean,
and that's the thing. I find it. So what I do is I have a Nutri blender. So it more or less. I don't take any of my smoothies straight. I have to see all the fibers inside. So I have it. It pulverizes everything plus the stalk, and so I don't separate. I just put anything that comes. Ugu, carrots, this one, that one, pineapple. I mix everything and I drink it. So there are days I have beetroot, there are days I have carrots. Like I said, I just mix and match. And
that I have a minimum of 5 a day of 250 CL.
No, I just
5 to 7 a day.
Oh no, I just make it
of each of the mix.
Yes.
Okay, you blend and put in the fridge, or you.
Surplus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
When I come to Abuja, then it's in the fridge because, I have to go to a particular eatery where I place order for them. So
yeah,
at 10 o'clock, I go and I pick all of them and I put them in the fridge and they last me to the next day in the morning.
Oh, that's okay. Now, I still want to, relate a little bit more on the, treatment stuff. How regularly, we already talked about the cost, I don't want to mention what it costs, but how regularly do you go for your treatment?
Treatment is the first thing you do. Then the next thing is management. You know, and
What's the difference? No, treatment and management.
okay,
What's the
treatment
difference?
starts.
Okay.
Let's say starts. That diagnosis. Then you may be on some long-term treatment like the hormonal.
Yes.
Which is supposed to cut off hormone supply. You know, I was on tamoxifen, and then I did Zoladex injections, you know, which were monthly, and I did those for 5 years.
5 years?
Yes, I did those for 5 years. Because they will tell you first 2 years, and then after 2 years, one more year, and then after one more year, you know, like that. And so from that, I had 5 years, and I calculated the cost, and I said, hello, I don't need babies anymore. So
just tell me.
Let's get them out. Those eggs, so I took the ovaries out. And then they say you can't keep the uterus when the ovaries are out, because apart from the fact that it is risky, uterus never works without the ovaries. So take the two out, and then you have peace of mind. Then you don't have to worry that, you know, you need to monitor the cervical cancer, or you need to no. So I took everything out, you know. So those are management, because we don't want a real occurrence, and we don't even want a secondary occurrence, because we go around knowing that because we've had cancer before, we can always have another cancer again. You know, so that is a constant thing in our lives. And so management entails ensuring that you are cured, there is no reoccurrence, and there is no secondary occurrence. And after diagnosis is every 3 months, you know, that you get checked, because that is the most likely period that it can reoccur. And then the next year you can do twice a year. That's what, you know, I was placed on. And then the third year is a check every year, unless you have a complaint. You know, even if you can't breathe, you know, sometimes we have catarrh, the nose no go breathe air. Then I go, oh, maybe it is going in my nose. Oh, maybe it's in my brain. You know, and then I'm subjecting myself to all
That's
that.
regular catarrh, and then you think it's another form of cancer.
Yes, a friend of mine told me, said, don't think that because you got cancer, you won't get cough and catarrh again, no. Because this one where they complain all the time like this.
Yeah, I get it.
You know. So he asked me, did you get catarrh and cough before you were diagnosed? And I said, no. And so why is it now that you are? But that is the life. You know, every day you are in apprehension. And that's why the support network, positive support network, is important. I never sit down at home and expect people to come and greet me, because that's what my people are very good at. They will so papa, you bring you food, everybody will sit around with their mouth like, oh, sorry, oh, if you just move, sorry, if you just stand, sorry. I don't want that. So they come to my house and they call me on phone. We came to your house to greet you. Also, I'm at work.
Thank you. All right. You know, you talked about you know, early menopause coming in with it.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, like I said, I'm still in treatment. So I have 6 months to complete my treatment. I told you I did the lumpectomy. That's instead of removing the whole breast, I removed the portion. Then I did my chemo. I'm now going to do radiotherapy. But
did the chemo affect your hair?
Yes, I don't have hair.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
it's cool. It's cool.
So yes, it did. It took out my hair. So it's going to take depending on another 3-4 months to come out. But I'm also on hormone therapy, so it's to block. So I'm on tamoxifen. Unfortunately, my doctor has told me I'm going to be on it for 5 years. But 2 years down the line, when I'm premenopausal, I will take the Zolofex. But mine is going to be 3 times a year. 4 times a year, every 3 months.
Instead of 2.
No, I was on Zoladex every month.
No, mine is. So everybody. That's why I say there's no one treatment for cancer. Each person is personalized. There's something my doctor did called staging of the cancer. They need to know what stage. Then there's a protocol they followed. So that's basically it. So for me, I'm not ready to lose my ovaries and take it out, because I read somewhere that it has a way of affecting your bones and your heart. I'm 42. Maybe down the line, if it's still... I get where she's coming from, because for the rest of your life, you're always going to be thinking, are you... Because you're not term cancer-free until you don't have it for 7 to 10 years for this own cancer, not at the second one, for this particular. So I'm going to do the whole 3 months when I finish my radiotherapy, then 6 months, then 2 years, then one year before. So when I do that, that's when I'm in remission. So when I'm in remission for 7 to 10 years, I am cancer free. So it's always going to be a journey. It's always going to be okay, we are going back to look at it though. We pray to God because nobody knows what causes it. Even
the thing is, it's a journey, but I like the people who are driving the bus, the vehicle, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The two of you, if everyone, take it the way you're taking it, we'll all be having party every now and
have you
then.
noticed they've both become doctors already?
Oh, yes.
mini doctors.
Yeah, we do health navigation all the time
Yeah.
because you're telling people how to react and respond to the diagnosis they've received. You are giving them life competency skills, especially resilience skills for them to, and then you are directing them on the right places to go to obtain treatment. Even if they want alternative, we encourage them to take.
This is what
this is what I did, and that's why I am still here. So don't be afraid, take it, because there's a lot of rumor and myths out there. Like if you take injection, you will die. If you take chemo, it will kill you.
If they do operation,
all of
you will
those
die.
things. People die because they diagnose late.
Yes.
We generally believe if you go to the hospital, they are going to give you the sickness you don't have, and then you will die.
Okay, I'm going to wear my wig.
Yes.
All right, so while you're doing that, let's see. We have
Yes,
some
because that's
messages.
another thing.
Coming.
Cold.
Yes.
Makes my head very cold.
Okay, I'm Rollins. I'm really enjoying your talk. This is an eye-opener. God bless you people. Thank you very much, Rollins. For us, all of us, it's an eye-opener, and we intend to keep our eyes open. I am Favor. Can a man have cancer? Of course, men have cancer.
Yes.
Plenty.
Breast cancer. Men have breast
Some
cancer.
men are beginning to have...
scheduled to travel out too. He is also cancerous. My elder brother.
Uh-oh.
You'll be fine.
All right, let's see. I am Elder Abuchi Ikegwonu from Bend, the local government area of Abia State. These are quite regular with us. Please, 1, what are the preventive therapy to breast cancer? 2, the women in the village, can roots and herb be used in the treatment? I don't know about that. Did you try roots? What you are doing is actually roots and herbs. When you talk about your smoothie,
it's
yes.
an integrated approach to treatment, where you are eating all the natural foods, to complement the medicals, that you're obtaining from the hospital.
I think we have this misconception of these roots.
Preventive.
Especially in Nigeria, we just automatically believe that these roots are bad or they are something else. We have this mentality of this babalawo thing. So when you begin to talk about roots, and you begin to think of those things. But I think, whether we like it or not, all the veggies we're eating, whatsoever, all these natural things we're eating, they are part of the roots.
They're roots and
we need
herbs.
to have an understanding of what these things really are, so that we don't fall into this deceptive mood that no, it has to be, you have to take the drugs and not take this. They are all part of the
I still want to believe that.
Some
Go ahead.
natural things block
Yeah.
the action, the properties that are active in chemo. So it is advisable that
To
when
talk to
people
your doctor.
are in chemo, they shouldn't just take anything in
Tell your
random,
doctor.
because they could be blocking the
treatment.
yes, the
What
treatment.
it's meant to do for you.
Yes.
And as regards to, is there anything to prevent cancer? The thing is, you don't even know what causes cancer. So cancer is basically, our bodies produce cells. But unfortunately, when it doesn't divide well, after a while, it could. Please, nobody should quote me. It could become cancerous. No, because people have a way of taking these things, and we don't know the processes in our body. Some is hereditary, some is somebody must have had it in your family. Like my aunt had it, but she's still alive. She's almost 100, and she's in the UK. But when I told my uncle, he said, but it's not at this age. So you're not even sure what causes it. It could be one thing for one person, another thing. All I know is that the cells that are supposed to divide evenly, sometimes they don't.
All right.
So
I generally, healthy living, from what the two have actually told us, it's important we do healthy living, do your exercises, go back to the roots and help by way of eating, leave packaged food, leave tin food. That way we can ensure that we are at least doing our own part in staying healthy. We'll take a little break now, pay some bills. When we'll come back, the show continues. Don't go away. conversations. A lot of people are writing in. I'll quickly take a handful at once, then we quickly react to it before we go. Let's see. My name is Mike, and I'm writing from Benue State. I want to know more about vaginal discharge with smelling odor. Could it be a sign of cancer? We'll take the next one. It says, I have a lump in my breast. My chest has been paining me and I do not have money to go to the hospital. Okay, I don't know who this person is and didn't write his name. Okay, let's see. The next one says, good morning. My name is Bright. Please, I need more help on this topic. And let's quickly react to the lump one first before we continue. Somebody who says he has a lump in the breast and doesn't have money to go. Are there NGOs? Are there places, help centers? What can we do to help?
Yeah, there are foundations that support people who can't afford treatment, even diagnosis. But they can only step in when somebody has gone to a healthcare facility and they've been diagnosed. Because they are cancer foundation. They are not going to start throwing the money where it hasn't been established. So it may not be cancer. And if they do that, they'll be depriving the cancer patients of the opportunities. Yeah. So this person needs to go to the healthcare center.
Or for me, if you could go to one of those labs and ask them to just do a normal scan. You don't have to go to a hospital first, because I think the hospital will still refer you to go to a lab and do a scan. So when you get a scan, then your results, the lab attendant can tell you what your results are. It might not be, it might just be fear. And that's another thing. There's always fear. So it might not be anything. So you don't have to go to a hospital first. You could just go to a laboratory, have them do a scan for you. It's not that
diagnostic centers.
Diagnostic centers.
Some are not good. Some will give you a result that
will cost you.
So
it's a 50-50 thing.
Tell you nothing wrong.
I know.
So if you're using a diagnostic center, please go to a credible
one. A credible one.
Don't go
but
to
it does reduce the cost of going to a hospital and whatever. So it's just.
All right. Somebody says here that he's writing it from Ukporo in Ohafia local government area, and he's advocating that we eat more of soursop, which is popularly known as a chop chop. It works like magic. I don't know. Yeah. That's still like going back to the roots. Well, maybe I'll just take 1 or 2 seconds of your final words, advice to a lot of women who are watching at the moment.
Yeah, mine will be to encourage women not to be in toxic relationships. Because if we're in toxic relationships, we are depressed most of the time and angry and bitter, and that in turn affects our immunity. Yeah. And so we are not able to fight off the radicals that are made in our body, because everybody walks around with cancer cells at one point in time or the other. But they are able to deal with all of that if they are optimally healthy, if their immune system is great.
Okay, so we need to always be happy.
Bad relationship,
quit it.
Do something about it.
All right?
Yeah, and I agree with her. And just be generally happy. And it doesn't cost much to do a checkup.
Okay.
Every time. We get so busy, we get so overwhelmed, we get to take time out to
love
self-love.
Yourself. Okay.
Believe me, after my chemo, I traveled for a week, went to go see my friends. Something I hadn't done because I felt guilty of, my children, but believe me, they were fine. Just 2-3 days.
All right.
And for me, I would just say, please speak out.
Yes.
When you talk to people like this, when you hear other people's story, it encourages you. It gives you the strength and the stamina to stand. Whether it's cancer or it's not cancer, whatever
it is, you must find strength in speaking to one another. Yeah. If they say problem shared is already half solved. Yeah. I'll see you again next week. My name is Elizabeth. I've been talking on cancer. There's no end to it. What I advise you to do is love yourself. If you love yourself, you get to feel better on the inside. Bye for now.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Nigerian handmade beaded necklaces have come in many different designs and styles. Some are plain strings of beads without any additional details, using brooches, pendant gemstones, or even crystals. These kinds of details make the African and Nigerian handmade beaded jewelry look more authentic and visually attractive. In the world of fashion, beads have evolved over the years, coming out in more fashionable ways. Women have been known to be associated with different kinds of accessories from ages, and today the use of beads have even become more trending, particularly those of handmade bead necklaces. Now get thrilled with some of the latest trends associated with beads. Nigerian handmade beaded necklaces are truly trendy.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Disaster occurs on frequent basis. Some we hear of, others we do not. Terrorism, flood, fire, earthquake, car or plane crashes, building collapse, and even armed robbery, each bringing assets and revenue loss, human mortality,
and in 90% of survivors, great loss of hope. Flooding is the most common of all environment hazards, and it regularly claims over 20,000 lives per year and adversely affects about 75 million people worldwide. Nigeria has had its fair share.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only time. And who can say if your love grows as your heart shows? Only time.
Emergencies, as the name implies, are not set out to happen, but they can be planned or budgeted for. Disaster management may not avert emergency threats, but it will decrease the impact of disaster where well handled. It then brings to the fore the key phases to management of disaster: mitigation, response, recovery, preparedness, and prevention. Every citizen must be well acquainted with all of them. Wishing disaster away does not avert it. Rather, as put in the local parlance, a man of valor is only identified at a time of emergency. Let us always be prepared.
Hello, this is the news update on NTA International. I am Lami Ali. The released Salih Utanku Islamia school children arrived Mina at about 12 midnight on Thursday after 6 hours journey from Birnungwari access of Kaduna State, where the release was secured. The children, who spent about 3 months in captivity, were abducted on the 30th of May at the school premises in Tagina. In the meantime, the Niger State Governor, Abubakar Sani Bello, has confirmed the death of one out of the 136 children of the Salih Utanku Islamia School, Tagina, who were released last night. 4 are in critical condition. Others will soon be reunited with their families. The U.S.-led evacuations from Kabul airport in Afghanistan has entered its final stage following devastating twin bomb attacks. The attacks targeted people queuing to flee the country after Taliban militants returned to power. 90 people have been killed, mostly Afghan civilians, and 13 U.S. military personnel. At least 150 people were also wounded in the attacks, which the Islamic State group says it carried out. The UK says it is entering its final stage of evacuation, with 1,000 people leaving today. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has announced 835 new cases of COVID in Nigeria within the last 24 hours. Nigeria now has 189,715 total confirmed cases of COVID-19. out of which 169,626 patients were treated and discharged, while the death toll is now 2,298. To politics now, the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, PDP, seems to have taken another twist this Friday, with uncertainty staring an ongoing caucus meeting in the face. The uncertainty followed the Birnin Kebbi High Court order that reinstated the national chairman of the party, Prince Uche Secondus, to office, while the acting national chairman, Elder Yemi Akimume, is attending the meeting. Party chairman Prince Uche Secondus is seated back in the office and not allowed to be part of the meeting for now. PDP governors and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, as well as National Assembly leadership of the party, are attending the meeting. Those are the stories trending at this time. Thanks for being a part of it. Political update is next. Thank you for watching.
The push and pull surrounding the helmsman's seat in the People's Democratic Party thickened this week with another court order reinstating the embattled chairman after one had pulled the plug on his legitimacy last week. The key stakeholders are about now leaving the party national headquarters as we speak and will be on to the Wadata House shortly. The All Progressives Congress welcomes new decampees from its main rivals as key elections draw closer. Also on political update today, widespread relief greets the return of abducted Tegina Islamia children, but there is foreboding as the ugly trend of abductions show no sign of abating. We will have contributions from the United Kingdom, Jos, and Mina in the course of the program. I am Fisayo Gunfuyi. Welcome. Let's start with some stories making the rounds in the political scene. Now, Imo State Governor Opuzodinma has expressed absolute confidence in the APC to win the forthcoming governorship election in Anambra State. The governor made his comments to journalists after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the Chief of Defense Staff was also at the State House.
The governing All Progressives Congress, APC, presently controls 2 out of the 5 southeastern states of Nigeria. Governor Hope Uzodinma, who is meeting President Muhammadu Buhari after a wide consultation with critical stakeholders, assured him that Anambra, the light of the nation, will not remain in the opposition.
The political leadership in Igbo land will have resolved to be part of the federal government, to participate at the national level, to leave a provincial championship to national championship. So what we have decided to do is to ensure that we embrace the ruling party, APC. And we are taking the message to Anambra. And by the grace of God, Anambra people will buy the message and the Igbo land will be recovered.
Governor Hope Uzodinma used the opportunity to formally appreciate the president for his intervention in respect of the ecological challenges confronting Imo State, especially the erosion menace.
As I speak to you, 3 erosion sites, contract for them will be awarded any moment from now, and Mr. President has also approved the release of funds for payment of the project to the contractors. So it is a good one.
On security, the Imo State Governor told journalists that normalcy has not only been restored in the state, but there is also no compliance to the sit-at-home order by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra.
IPOB is not the government in Imo State. The Imo State government has not authorized any sit-at-home. People are going about their businesses, workers are going to work, and normal business activities are on. And for now, I told you that Imo State is relatively calm. We even had a football match between Heartland and Adama Football Club in the night at Danayam Stadium. And people witnessed it all over the world. That will tell you the extent of friendliness and the good environment for businesses in Imo State. With the political will and cooperation of our people, particularly our traditional rulers, we've been able to a reasonable extent, manage control of criminality and illegality in Imo State. Our farmers and our headers signed an MOU in my office and agreed to work together. And both parties are going about their businesses without interfering or causing any grievance or anger to each other. So in no small time, I'm sure and almost certain that normalcy will return completely, 100% to Imo State.
Protection of lives and property, Governor Uzodimma emphasized, is the primary responsibility of government, and therefore his administration will not leave anything to chance towards securing the Eastern Heartland for sustainable growth and development. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari formally engaged the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo. Details of their discussions held behind closed doors were not made public.
And now that was in the course of the week. Now to some political issues. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has unanimously adopted the Deputy National Chairman South, Elder Yemi Akinwumi, as the acting National Chairman of the party. The party's Board of Trustees also met with the National Working Committee.
This NWC meeting of the PDP is to find solution to who occupies the office of the national chairman in an acting capacity following an interim order by Rivers State High Court restraining Prince Uche Secondus from functioning as the national chairman of the party. Two deputy national chairmen had this Tuesday laid claim to the position. This meeting has, however, resolved the tussle.
On behalf of our party, that we have navigated the turbulence, a motion was moved, and Elder Yemi Akinwumi was unanimously approved as the acting chairman of our great party.
A meeting of the PDP Board of Trustees also held shortly after that of the NWC.
The PDP is coming stronger than before now. There's a little squabble in the party. It's not my own making. It's a situation that calls for it. We have close ranks. We have brought our house to order. PDP is never dead.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, also attended the meeting.
We have proved to Nigerians that we have that ability to resolve our internal crisis.
The acting national chairman of the PDP, Elder Yemi Akinwumi, promised to abide by the decision of the party stakeholders to hold a national convention in October this year.
After that, the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum affirmed the party's National Working Committee endorsement of Elder Yemi Akinwumi as acting national chairman. This was at the forum's emergency meeting in Abuja.
The meeting of the PDP Governors Forum held behind closed doors also hosted the acting national chairman of the party, Elder Yemi Akinwumi. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, says the PDP, as a law-abiding party, stands by the Rivers State High Court interim order restraining Prince Uche Secondus from functioning as national chairman of the party.
We are a law-abiding party that believe in the rule of law. We advise ourselves that that is the way to go. We must comply with that court order.
On the party stakeholders' resolve to hold a national convention in October this year, the forum chairman restates that the resolution still stands.
National convention, by the grace of God, still holding in October. We are still together. Yes, the road can be bumpy, But the most important thing is that we are still holding together strongly, and that is what we assure our members and our teaming supporters across the country.
Meanwhile, a National Executive Committee meeting of the PDP has been slated for this Saturday to further deliberate on the party's proposed national convention.
After all that, a high court in Kebbi State has granted an order reinstating Prince Uche Secondus as the national chairman of the party. The order granted by Justice Nusrat Umar orders Secondus to resume immediately in a suit filed by some members of the PDP in Kebbi. The claimants in the suit, which has Secondus and the PDP as the first and second respondents, are Messrs. Yahya Usman, Abubakar Muhammad, and Bashir Suleiman. Let's now join our correspondent Timothy Yusuf from Wadata House, PDP National Headquarters. Timothy, court orders, NWC endorsements, BOT statements, governors' forums, input, all mixed into one pot. Let's make a sense of everything and explain the traffic at the Wadata House today so far.
Thank you, Studio. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, PDP, took a different dimension this Friday following a Birnin Kebbi High Court order reinstating Prince Uche Secondus as national chairman of the party to office. But then, before then, a national caucus meeting of the party was earlier scheduled for today to begin at 10 a.m. But then, Prince Uche Secondus found his way back to office, but then was not allowed to be part of the meeting. The meeting later went into closed door, whereby a committee chaired by former Senate President David Mark was constituted to look into all matters relating to all the court issues. The committee is to report back to the caucus at the next meeting scheduled for tomorrow. Chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, on behalf of the National Caucus, briefed the media on the outcome of the meeting.
We have resolved to submit to the neck of our party tomorrow a recommendation from the National Working Committee for the National Convention of our party to be held between Friday 30th of October to Saturday 31st of October. Venue will be determined by the grace of God tomorrow by NEC. Also, this distinguished body had empaneled 8 distinguished leaders of our party under the able leadership of former President of the Senate, Senator David Mark, to interface with our leaders who are involved in these issues of court, so that all court matters can be now withdrawn and then for normalcy to continue to return to the party. I appeal on behalf of this body to all well-meaning members of our party to sheathe their sword and let us embrace peace, because Nigeria is waiting for PDP, and I believe that we have the capacity to resolve whatever issues we have internally. And in view of the fact that we are yet to receive the service of the court order, we empaneled this committee. It's part of what this committee is going to look at and advise the party and all the parties involved accordingly. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Timothy, with that update. Joining us now in the studio is Ambassador Moses Kolawole Ubisheso, National Secretary, PDP Professionals and Business Group. Thank you for joining us. Also with us today via Zoom from the United Kingdom is constitutional lawyer Kayode Ajulo. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, let me start with Kayode Ajulo from London. How do we untangle this legal conundrum when courts coordinate jurisdiction, if I'm correct, give conflicting judgments like this? One in Degema, Port Harcourt, said Secondus should leave. One in Kebbi yesterday said he should continue. What do we do in such situations? What will be the interpretation?
Well, thank you very much. At first, I don't want to believe that there's any conundrum in what has happened, because this is a very simple legal issue and it has its own solutions. As it is, a court in Degema, that is in Rivers State, has already issued an order. And as long as the order stands, except a superior court in this matter, a court of appeal or Supreme Court can upturn the order. But for anybody to move to any other court, particularly, and mind you, these are court of coordinate jurisdiction, they are power, to now want to use order of a court that has a power of the same to change or to upturn the order is something that is not acceptable. I want to believe that. And again, moving further, we can see that it is more of issue of abuse of court process, because I believe anybody that feels that a court has given an order, the best bet, the best thing for any individual or party to do is to look for a way to vacate the order, either before the court that issued that order or go on appeal. But to use another court is another thing. And going through the process itself, it sounds hollow. It disturbs some of us who are lawyers that in a situation, a plaintiff, a claimant, we've been asking for an order to favor the defendants. So the question here is this: are they really in court? Are they really doing anything? And I think I understand somebody said we are still waiting for the order. I think my candid advice and humble advice is we don't need to wait for any order. One order is there. It has subsisted. That is the order. No other courts, no other orders of court of coordinate jurisdiction can upturn the order.
Let's look
of
at
the
it
same
beyond the legalese, Mr. Ajulo. Let's look at it this way. Now, won't these gymnastics, your legal gymnastics, give room for mischief and create avenue for subversion of due processes on the long run? And how do we discourage this when we see all kinds of orders being thrown about across the country once we have a substituting one, especially from, as you have said, courts of coordinate jurisdiction?
Anyway, the best way for us to overreach this is for our courts, that's our judiciary, to be vigilant, because that's what really matters. I want to believe that I'm very sure that those that went to KB will never, may not be brought the order of the court in Rivers State before my Lord, and I believe that is why the court has done what he has done. I want to believe, I want to be on that side. But as it is, the position is so clear. When you talk of law, when you talk of judiciary, there's no way you can wish away the legalese there. The legal issue, the legal position is as well stated. The court has given an order. There's no way another court of coordinate jurisdiction can upturn the order, except if the court itself can reverse the order, or you go to the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court. Without that, the court subsists. Whatsoever may be the gymnastic, may be, of course, politician, they always have a way of playing with the rules, but the rule is always there to guide us, and I believe this is what is playing out.
All right, we have a circle. Thank you very much, Mr. Ajulo, for your interventions. Let me quickly bring in Mr. Kaya Obisheson in our studio. You are a stakeholder in all this as it is playing out. How would you, what would you like to see in terms of a speedy resolution to this? There seems to be meeting upon meetings at the headquarters of your party for some time now, and everything is about one court order or the other. So what will you be thinking about in the next few days, vis-a-vis, of course, elections are around the corner?
Okay, first, I just want to thank you. I want to say that all the tussle here and there is a huge distraction for my beloved party, PDP, and I sincerely want to see a quick resolution of all of this. And secondly, I will also say that what is happening is not unexpected because of the size of the party we're talking about, because of the vibrancy of PDP. PDP, it's still the biggest party in Africa on ground, not necessarily the ruling party. So everybody is really going for it. Also, I usually will describe it like the beautiful bride. You know, everybody knows that once you can take the control of PDP, when you can bring your ambition on the platform of PDP, if you want to if we must change what we see now, if we must tell the APC to take a leave, because quite enough, Nigerians are really tired of what they are seeing. They've tested the two sides. So basically, PDP gives the opportunity to be able to actually so change what we see. So that's why you see all of the juggling, all of the run around just to be able to be in control of PDP.
Let's look at things playing out, and we've seen the governors also make interventions. Perhaps maybe over the weekend we have a clearer picture. But are you seeing light at the end of the tunnel in terms of this? I asked you this question about a fortnight ago, and it looks to me as if we've even gone to more, like we said earlier, gymnastics. So what are we going to see in the next few weeks?
If you ask me, yes, I know that the challenges you see is actually a play out of individual powerful forces within PDP, and also possibly external forces who don't want PDP to actually be stable. But I tell you, like my legal colleague just said right now, as far as I'm concerned, the issues are over. Sincerely, because the court, was very clear. The court in Rivers State was very clear to say, look, Secondus, please take a back seat. Let us have Akinwumi to lead this great party, in acting capacity for now. And that exactly is what is standing. Now, the other court that reinstated Secondus in Kebbi cannot stand, because they are court of equal strength, and so you can't have these two courts give something. And again, I think I want to say this. I want to really appeal to our courts to really allow democracy to grow, to allow democracy to thrive. We should check what we're churning out. Even though I'm a law-abiding person, I will still say that PDP should really creatively actually take care of the court issues. I love what the Governors Forum chairman said. He said we've not received the court. The court judgment that came from Kebbi. We have not, and so for us, even if it is received, it should be taken care of. And also just for me to call on our people that it's time we close ranks. We have election coming up in Anambra, just a month plus, and then we have the presidential election 2023. It's the time for us to really have a formidable front to be able to do all that we need to do.
I know there'll be a platform for that very in subsequent programs. But let me quickly, before I just allow you to go, Mr. Ajilo, it seems as if everything now ends in court. Party issues in court, elections in court. How do we break this cycle?
Well, the one thing I want you to know is this: Nigeria is a country that has its foundation in our law, and the constitution of the land is so clear that when there's any issue, the court is there to adjudicate and to determine the issue. And I quickly need to say this: instead of asking that the court should allow democracy to falter, I think it is the people, is the politician that I believe that message should be sent to. The court is always there to do justice. The court is static. The court is staying. It is the politician that will go to the court, and as it is, the courts. It is not the duty of the court is to know what it is. What is presented before the court, that's what the court will adjudicate on. And like I said, this issue is very simple. This issue is very laughable, where both the claimant, the plaintiff, and the defendant went to court and bringing an application that will favor the defendant. I don't really know where this one comes from. And that is why you see that our politicians, they need to really be careful if they really want this democracy to falter. And I think that should be the take home this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Kadi Ajilo, all the way from London. Thank you for being a part of it. And of course, in the studio, we've had Kolawole Obisheson also. Before we end, in the course of the week, the senator representing Anambra North and former Minister of Aviation, Stella Odua, defected to the All Progressive Congress. Chairman APC, caretaker, and extraordinary convention planning committee, and Yobe State Governor Memala Buni says the development will better position the party for victory in the Anambra governorship polls.
In a brief ceremony held at the residence of Governor Buni, top members of the party, including Chairman APC Governors Forum, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, Governor Hope Uzodimma of Imo State, Deputy Senate President Ovie Omoagege, and the APC governorship candidate of Anambra State, Andy Uba, joined and elated Memala Buni to receive the former aviation minister.
As from today, you will enjoy all the privileges applied to all members of the party, and including waiver to yourself and your team supporters.
What has happened today is a further manifestation of the determination of our people and our desire to grow the economy of this country.
The DCAMP described the All Progressives Congress as a political party that is promoting the ideal democratic culture in Nigeria.
Always been interested on how can we redefine our political culture, and in APC it's been accepted to be the norm.
But she's joining a movement that is defining itself as a movement to deliver a greater Nigeria for the future.
The APC says a dominant show in Anambra come November 6 is even more assured, with its approval rating soaring high amongst political leaders in the state.
That was Political Update for today, and that's it for this week. We'll be back on Tuesday, God willing, with a brighter, better, and a fresher package. My name is Fisao Gunfuyi, thanking you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and urging you, if you have been watching your politics elsewhere, to defect and watch it on the NTA, where we give you the very best of political news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.
There is a lot of fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
This is the network service of the NTA.
When music meets dance, love meets poetry,